Okay, good morning, my dear students. I hope you are having a nice time. In the background, you are going to be listening and watching some of the best advertisement campaigns. This is a speech by Julia Rose, President of the Global Advertisers Association. And it goes like this. Good morning. It's good to be here with you all. My goal today is to give you some information about changing world markets. Let's start by looking at the United States. Can you think of a country with more advertising than the United States? Think about watching a movie on TV. You're waiting for the good guy to get the bad guy, and suddenly there's a commercial. A few minutes later, the good guy is in trouble, and you are interrupted by another commercial. Message after message. It's not like that in other countries. In places like France and Spain, you can watch at least a half hour of the program before a commercial interruption. And then the commercials will come all in a row. China is a different story. For years, any kind of commercial advertising was illegal. Government advertising was all over the place, but business advertising was non-existent. Then, Sony, the company Sony, came along and changed things. The Japanese companies were the first to start advertising in China. They have led the way for others to come into the country. I think we can learn something from them too. It's important not to come in overnight and start advertising, because that can lead to serious mistakes. Advertisers must take their time and plan their campaigns carefully, because there are millions of people in China who don't know what a Big Mac is. Then you don't want to rush over there and try to sell them one. Instead, you would want to plan ahead 5 or 10 years. It pays to be patient in China. Now, in Russia, you would have to think about your product and whether or not there's a market for it. Fast food, for example, it's a very strange idea in Russia. In the restaurants, okay, not in the main cities, okay, but in the restaurants, it's very strange to see people asking for fast food to take away, okay? But in restaurants, you usually sit down and the waiter brings you soup, salad, meat, and potatoes. Potatoes with meat, maybe, okay? One thing at a time. The Russians think of food as something you take your time. Something you enjoy. Now, what happened with the pizza in Russia? It's a very funny story. First, they had to convince people to try pizza, and then they had to explain that it was similar to the Russian batrushka. Then, the pizzeria restaurant opened up in Moscow. The Russians may have liked it, alright, but pizzeria didn't go over too well with the foreign visitors, because the pizza didn't always have enough cheese or tomato sauce. Another problem was that if you wanted to take the pizza home with you, the chef wouldn't hear of it. He didn't want it to get cold. When you're dealing with international markets, you're dealing with other customs, other cultures, other laws. But things are changing every day. Yes, new markets are opening up all the time. We have to look at the big picture before we start planning a campaign. We need to think about our product. Will people be able to buy it? Regarding our marketing plan, will people understand it? Remember that for years and years in China and Russia, people had a hard time buying things. The best advertisement of all was a long line in front of a store. That's how people knew which store was the place to go. So, we must think about how things are changing if we expect to be successful. I appreciate your attendance today. It's been a pleasure to be with you. And that's how Julia Ross closed her speech. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it, and we're going to work hard on it. Thanks a lot.